In a peaceful village surrounded by lush green fields and chirping birds, lived a young boy named Ayaan. He was smart, hardworking, and full of big dreams, but there was one thing he struggled with: patience. Ayaan wanted success, and he wanted it fast. If things didn't work out quickly, he'd get frustrated and give up. He admired successful people and often asked himself, how did they make it? What's their secret? Inspired, he would start something new, like reading, exercising, or learning a new skill. But after a few days, if he didn't see big results, he'd stop. This cycle repeated over and over, and every time he quit, a little more doubt crept into his heart. One day, Ayaan went to visit his grandfather, who lived on the edge of the village in a quiet little house with a small garden. His grandfather was an old wise man who always seemed to know just what to say. That day, seeing the disappointment on Ayaan's face, he smiled gently and asked, "What's bothering you, Ayaan?" Ayaan sighed. "I try so many things, but nothing ever works. I don't get the results I want. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed." His grandfather chuckled softly and said, "Do you want to know the real secret to success?" Ayaan nodded eagerly. The old man leaned back in his chair and began to tell him a story. There was once a young man named Kabir who wanted to become a great sculptor. He had a dream of creating something extraordinary that people would admire for generations. One day he found a large stone near the edge of the forest. He looked at it and said, "This will become my masterpiece." Kabir began to carve the stone, working day and night. He poured his heart into it, but as days turned into weeks, he saw no clear shape. The stone still looked rough, uneven, far from anything beautiful. Doubts crept in. He wondered if he had chosen the wrong stone, or worse, if he just wasn't talented enough. One evening, as Kabir sat beside the half-carved rock, feeling defeated, an old sculptor happened to pass by. The old man saw the tools on the ground and the sadness in Kabir's eyes. He asked, "Why do you look so down, young man?" Kabir replied, "I've been working on this rock for months, but it still doesn't look like the statue I imagined. Maybe I should give up." The old sculptor smiled gently and said, "Don't give up. Every masterpiece takes time. The beauty inside the stone is still hiding. Keep carving, and it will show itself." Kabir was quiet for a moment. Then he picked up his chisel again. He kept working, slowly and steadily. Days passed, then weeks, and little by little, the stone began to change. A shape began to emerge. The lines became clearer, the edges smoother. Over time, the sculpture took form. It became a beautiful statue, full of grace and detail. People came from all around to see it, and Kabir finally understood. It wasn't talent alone that created the masterpiece. It was his decision to keep going, even when it felt like nothing was happening. Ayaan listened closely, completely drawn into the story. When his grandfather finished, Ayaan asked quietly, "So, it's not about working fast, but about not giving up?" His grandfather nodded. Most people stop because they don't see results right away. But the ones who succeed, they stay with it, even when nothing seems to be changing. Ayaan sat in silence for a while, thinking. Then he asked, "But how do I become more patient? I always feel like giving up when things are slow." His grandfather gave him a warm smile and shared some advice. He told him to stop chasing perfection and instead focus on small improvements. "Even a tiny step forward is still progress," he said. Ayaan realized he didn't have to be amazing overnight. He just had to be a little better than yesterday. Next, he reminded Ayaan that things in nature take time. If you plant a seed today, it won't turn into a tree tomorrow. But that doesn't mean it isn't growing. Ayaan nodded, thinking about the mango tree in his grandfather's yard. It had taken years to grow, but now it gave the sweetest fruit. His grandfather also told him not to fear failure. Every time something doesn't work, you learn. The only way to really fail is to stop trying. Ayaan remembered all the times he had quit early and how he had never really seen anything through. He promised himself that from now on, he would keep going, no matter how slow the progress. Then came the most practical advice: build small daily habits. Read a few pages every day. Exercise for 10 minutes. Don't wait for motivation. Just do it every day, no matter how little. That's how big change happens. And finally, he spoke of gratitude. When you're impatient, think about what you already have. Gratitude will remind you that even the slowest journey is still a gift. That night, Ayaan wrote down 3 things he was thankful for. It felt strange at first, but peaceful too. In the weeks that followed, Ayaan began to change. He started small but stayed consistent. He no longer rushed through things, expecting instant success. Instead, he focused on learning, growing, and staying patient. There were still days when things felt hard or when results were slow, but Ayaan didn't quit anymore. He kept carving, just like Kabir. He kept showing up even when he didn't feel like it. Over time, his grades improved. His confidence grew. He learned new skills and stuck with them. And slowly people began to notice. Years later, Ayaan became a respected entrepreneur. When asked how he did it, he would simply smile and say, "It all started the day I stopped rushing and started being patient." And deep inside, he always remembered that story his grandfather told him, the story that changed everything.